Hi everyone, greetings from National Skills Network. This is Madhuri, and as some of you might be following us on our YouTube channel and our website, you would have seen that one of the key focus areas for NSN is school level vocational education, and this is definitely going to get transformed in the coming years, especially with NEP 2020. And we have quite a few prominent people in the field who have spent years in the development sector and contributed immensely to school level vocational education. And it is in the same series that today we have invited Miss Sunanda Mane, who is the co-founder of lendahandindia. So if you are following us on our YouTube, you would have also watched a video interview with Mr. Raj Gilda, who's the founder of lendahandindia. So you can connect these stories and get a richer perspective of what they do and the impact they have created in the school sector. So welcome to this talk, Ms. Sunanda. We would like to get started by asking you about your contribution in the school level vocational education from Lend a Hand India, particularly with regard to implementing the pre-vocational courses. So what are these courses? In what subjects do you offer them, and how does it get implemented? So please tell us more about it.
Okay. So, interestingly, pre-vocational came after the middle school. Pre-vocational came after the vocational for secondary schooling. So that's kind of a little bit of a interesting dynamics that we started first with secondary schools, and then now we also have vocational program for the middle school, that is grade 6, 7th, and 8th.
Okay.
So the reason why we got started, basically, I would say, I think the NEP 2020 and the journey towards it, because we have been in skill education for last 15 years. We are one of the, I would say, though 15-year-old, but one of the oldest organizations who started integrating vocational education or skill education with school education back in 2006-7, when this was not in vogue. So we are the pioneers of introducing skill education into secondary education and now into middle schools also in India. So the pre-vocational, actually, when the NEP 2020 was being made or designed, or discussions were going on, workshops and seminars were being held, I think there was a talk about starting early. So instead of starting from 9th, 10th, and then probably towards vertical integration, getting into 11th and 12th, the suggestion was, why not start even earlier? And I think right when NEP 2020 was being announced, and our thinking also very much aligned with this thinking as well, because by the time NEP 2020 was coming, we were already more than 10 years in vocational education or skill education in schools, and definitely understood the benefits or the need of starting early. So we very much aligned with the thought and the idea of starting early. So by the time NEP 2020 was announced, I think our curriculum was almost getting ready, because we knew about it, that this is going to come. We have contributed in multiple ways towards the process of NEP 2020, particularly with reference to skill education. So, talking about what is pre-vocational. So, basically, it is for grade 6, 7th, 8th.
Okay.
The way we have designed the program, I mean, the basic tenets, I would say, or basic foundational, I would say, the structure of the program is that I think rote learning is one of the prevailing practices which is marring the basic education as such, because you end up doing rote learning, and marks become the predominant objective than probably learning, and we need to address that, particularly given the changing economy, changing expectations of the employers, changing even the startup and entrepreneurial scenario. So we need people who are good in observations, people who are good in communication, analysis, and things like that. And if we start inculcating these skills early on, the better. And therefore, this curriculum that we design actually takes into consideration almost 5 subjects that are taught in our middle school, in our middle schools. So right from all the STEM subjects, of course, then geography,
Yeah.
civics, and even to some extent language also. So the way the pre-vocational module, rather modules for each of these grades, 6, 7th, and 8th are designed, that there is a experiential way of learning or putting the theoretical knowledge that the children gain from the books in these particular grades. How can we how can it be supplemented by through experiential understanding of those concepts? So basically, learning by doing, that's the method. And the curriculum or the contents are designed to first thing integrate all learning of all the subjects, not in silos, but in an integrated way. So there is maths in many things that we learn. There is a science in many things that we learn.
Yeah.
There is history and there is a geography. So how can we bring all these learnings up from all these subjects together and design the curriculum so that by doing that particular activity, the child understands the practical nature of what he is learning, the utility or where that concept is used or where that theory is applicable. So the basis of the curriculum is this, that in an integrated way, help the child understand, help the student understand the theoretical devices or theoretical learning that happens in their respective subjects. So
Okay.
that is the first thing. And there are about 24, 25 such projects, such activities designed covering all these subjects, which can be offered at least once in a fortnight
Okay.
throughout the year.
Okay, so here it is like reverse mapping in a way, is it? Because on the other hand, like let's say, for example, you're trying to teach them something to do with, let's say, a skill, a proper skill where they have to arrange few things, or they have to, like say Lego blocks, for instance, right? So it has a certain a mathematical principle behind it, or it has some notion about space, or maybe some things about physics. So here you are trying to bring that angle into the existing curriculum and
And
tell
that
them
is,
how it can be
yeah,
applied, isn't it?
yeah, that is, so
Yeah.
the curriculum which is taught actually in 6th grade, 7th grade,
Yeah.
and 8th grade under all these 5 subjects. What can be a practical activity
Correct.
based to integrate? Just to
Yeah.
give you a small example,
Yeah.
we have this activity called batter making, for example. So batter making involves fermentation.
Yeah.
Batter making involves proportions.
Hmm.
Batter making involves kind of measurements.
Yeah.
Batter making involves observations.
Right.
Batter making then involves actually doing, if at all the school has a facility, actually making the idlis. Batter making involves mathematics in the sense that how much dal and how much rice you used,
Yeah.
and how much it costed. So you're talking about even budgeting also. And
Right.
then ultimately, if at all the school has a facility and they end up making actual idlis, the children also learn business because they can do costing. How
Yeah.
much did they spend on this? So this is the way. So they are learning integration. They are learning mathematics. They are learning science. Fermentation involves chemistry. Fermentation involves, the time sense, because you
Right.
need to keep that batter for a certain period of time. So all these things integrated, the children very easily understand the concept that they learn in those particular chapter. we have even gone ahead and actually in each of these activity, we have plotted the chapters that are covered from the theory. So it's made so easier for the teachers that which chapter he or she is covering by doing this activity. And there are multiple in an integrated way, they are learning so many things. So that's the nature of the, or that is how the contents are developed. Secondly, this program, this, as I said, this is delivered once in a fortnight
Hmm.
at a stage when at least about 120 minutes, 90 to 120 minutes are available. That
Okay.
kind of a time allocation is needed in the class so that the complete activity or the complete project is completed.
Hmm.
We do have teachers, manual, students, workbook, assessment tool, and all that available now for this. And this particular curriculum has been already adopted by 5 states. So this pre-vocational is already in operation in 5 states in India for grade 6, 7, and 8.
So what
The
are these
beauty,
five states? Uh,
one is Odisha, another is Maharashtra, third is Chhattisgarh, fourth is Gujarat, and fifth I'm not recollecting right now. But these are the 5 states where, and it is kind of a, other states are in the process because you need SCRT review of the curriculum and approval and all that.
hmm.
So it is operational, and in 3 more states, it is in the process of going through the review and all that.
Okay. So,
The regular teacher himself or herself delivers this. So
hmm.
it has been made very cost effective, and you can integrate the work experience hours for this, in your regular schedule
Hmm.
for 6, 7, and 8th grade. There are subjects like experiential education or hands-on learning or socially useful productive work.
Right.
Those kind of hours can be integrated and this curriculum can be delivered. Sorry, you were asking something.
Yeah, yeah. I was just saying because you mentioned SCRT, and since all these happens at the state level, so these state government, organizations also come into the picture. I think for the validation and approval, isn't that so? The
Yes,
state
that is
has
what
to approve. Yeah,
is, yeah, that is how the curriculum is
yeah.
weighted by SCRT, the respective
Okay.
SCRT in the state,
Hmm.
and then it is adopted.
Okay.
Uh, I think there is also a way in which the schools which are not necessarily the government schools, which are grantee aid schools, which we have
Yeah.
in large number in Maharashtra.
Yeah.
So it is even up to the school to adopt it because school relatively will have a freedom to adopt this program if the SCRT also has weighted this and recommended the curriculum.
Okay. So I feel this is really one of the greatest ways to, bring in the
Mm.
application. Like you gave the example of the batter, which is a daily thing for many households. So I think this is one of the best ways to inculcate a sense of vocational and also sensitizing the young people towards, appreciating these things. But
Yes.
here, isn't there an issue with the teachers? Are they prepared, or you also give them some kind of an orientation to teach this curriculum?
Yes, basically we do conduct training for the teachers, TOTs.
Mm-hmm.
All these teachers who are, the fifth state which I was not remembering is Nagaland. So
Okay.
Nagaland has also adopted. So in fact, the adoption of the pre-vocational, of course, started in Maharashtra first, and the second state which came forward was Nagaland. And Nagaland has introduced it in all its schools. Even Odisha has introduced in some 600 plus schools.
Okay.
So there is a lot of adoption. We do conduct a training for teachers. We always recommend or suggest that the regular teacher of the respective class should conduct these sessions also
Hmm.
because they are very much conversant with the curriculum and the students and everything. So there are TOTs. The TOTs can also be particularly taking into consideration the distance. They
Hmm.
can also be conducted online.
Okay. My next point would be to understand how this approach of the curriculum can be aligned with the notion of this bagless days. I mean, the concept of bagless days, which has been proposed in a big way for various schools. So, is that something that can be done along with this curriculum?
Yeah, actually, see, the entire curriculum is designed in such a way that uh, it is enjoyable for the students. They learn things. It's a hands-on learning. So basically, the entire curriculum doesn't need your backpack. It
Hmm.
is it is completely without pen and pencil and without your backpack. So children are at the most you need some paper to do certain things with the paper and pencil and maybe a scale. But that's all to say design or prepare a kite, for example. So
Yeah.
whatever that kind of a study related material used is required, but nothing related to studies or carrying your backpack and all those kinds of things. So actually, this 10 backless days is an offshoot of this curriculum. I mean, that is how we ended up uh, kind of creating 10 backless day curriculum also for a number of schools or a couple of states had requested for that. And mm, depending on the kind of, because 10 backless days means that means you are going to conduct these activities for 10 days.
Yeah.
So schools are at liberty to pick up any of out of these 24 activities, which depending on the infrastructure, depending on the equipment, tool, whatever is available. And of course, the teacher's orientation or teacher's expertise also. And actually conduct 10 backless days curriculum or the deliver the 10 backless days module. So those schools or those states who are who want to do this as a 10 backless day event, uh, we have another set of activities. We help them choose the activities, and even the 10 backless day curriculum has been derived out of this, and it is available to whoever wants to conduct it in 10 days period of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so besides this, is there any other points you wish to share with our audience? Because adoption of vocational education has been there in government schools, but as per the mandate from the NEP, it is likely to be adopted by other schools as well, which are public schools or the funded schools or the elite schools. I'm sure all of them
Mm.
should have, these subjects.
Yeah.
So, is there
Mm.
something you would like to send out as a message to our audience?
Mm. I would say that let's not take it as a vocational skill, particularly at this stage, because the children are too young to, talk about vocational with them, because, they are in eight, whatever, 9, 10, 11 age
Uh,
group. So it is too early. So why not call them life skills?
right.
These are life skills. I mean, in
Mm.
your life, these basic abilities or these basic skills, if you have, they should be considered as a life skills, and they should be there for elite schools, government schools, whatever, budget schools, whichever schools
Yeah.
for this particular age group,
Yeah.
because they are essential skills for life.
Yeah.
So mm, let's not, I would say that let's not brand them as vocational, because then it has a different connotation,
Yes.
unfortunately, in our communities,
Yeah.
because vocational is for poor people, vocational is for children who are not good in studies, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So let's call, at least for this middle school, this is our skill-based learning or learning life skills, and adopt this curriculum.
Okay, that's an
Thank you.
interesting perspective that you just shared about how we can present this skills to the students. So thank you so much for giving us your time today and telling us about the curriculum. We would be happy to receive more updates from you and be in touch with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful. Wonderful talking to you.